Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. If you love using paper collections, Not Too Shabby has a fun paper pad club subscription. They sent me their February 2023 subscription. Let's open it up so you can see what's included. I love that they give you a fun little lollipop treat. I will be giving that to my daughter. And there's also the little information card saying thank you. It has their website and also the hashtags to use if you're sharing any projects using their fun products. Here are the 2 paper pads you'll receive with the February 2023 subscription. We have Winged Beauties and also Glow. Winged Beauties features lots and lots of dragonflies, and Glow features some beautiful fireflies. The paper pads are 6 by 6 inches in size. They include 24 double-sided designs, 4 of each design. And I'll flip through both of them quickly so you can get an idea of all the beautiful patterns that are included. Both collections include one design that has lots of image cut-aparts and sentiments. The Not Too Shabby Paper Pad Club is a subscription. You will receive 2 6 by 6 paper pads every month. It releases on the 1st of the month. You can also purchase the paper pads without subscribing if there are still some available, but by subscribing, it'll guarantee you receive those paper pads and you'll also save 18%. If you're interested in subscribing or simply purchasing the paper pads, I do have a link provided in the description box below. This is the second time I've used their paper pad club and I've enjoyed all of the beautiful papers. It's hard to choose a favorite paper collection. I love the pinks and teals in the Winged Beauties collection, but the fireflies and all that pretty purple and yellow are beautiful as well. I do have some cards to share with you using both of the collections. I decided to start with Winged Beauties. For card design number 1, I selected this lovely pattern for the background. I'm layering it on a scallop rectangle die cut. And I did use a stitched rectangle die to cut out the pattern paper. I'll put some ATG tape on the back and also a little bit of glue along that very outside edge and adhere it onto my card base. You'll see just a peek of that white card base showing around the scallop die cut. Next, I'll add a stitched oval die cut, and I cut this out from a very light purple pearlescent cardstock. Now I'll add 3 of the lovely dragonfly cut-aparts. I'll glue those on, just putting adhesive behind their body and tail. That way their wings can lift up and have the look of dimension. I'm adding the sentiment Happy Birthday, and this is from Jaded Blossom's So Many Birthdays set number 5. I have the stamps and the coordinating dies. I did put a small scrap piece of cardstock behind the Y of birthday before adhering it in the lower right hand corner. For a final finishing touch, I'm adding some glitter stickers that I've had in my stash for years. Put 3 of them around the dragonflies. For card design number 2, I'm using a card sketch for inspiration. This is MFT number 214. I selected this lovely pink pattern paper with lots of dragonflies for the background, used a stitched rectangle die to cut that out. For the semicircle that's on the right side of the card, I used some teal cardstock that has a pearlescent finish. I'll adhere that down using some glue. Before really pushing that circle down, I'll tuck the right side of the sentiment banner underneath it. And I've already stamped Happy Birthday, and I used the same Jaded Blossom stamp set. Layer my pattern paper panel on some pink cardstock, put some ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. Next, I'll add a couple of the dragonfly cut-aparts onto the semicircle, again just putting glue behind their body and tail. For a final finishing touch, I'm adding some Love from Lizzie peel-offs. This is the mini circle style in the pink holographic color. Put 3 of the largest circle underneath the sentiment and 2 small circles around the dragonflies. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For card design number 3, the card sketch is from Mojo Monday. This is number 323. I'll be using some pink cardstock for the background, and I selected this lovely pattern paper for that wider piece on the left side of the card. It's so pretty with the teal background. On the card sketch, there's those narrow strips where you could wrap some twine or some string. I'm using Love from Lizzie peel-offs. They really don't add any dimension, but they add a lot of beautiful sparkle. I'm using the pink holographic color in the pinstripe style. And since I will be covering up the center, I'm able to cut some of those pieces. That way they're not overlapping and adding a little bump in the center. I'll layer that piece on some teal cardstock, adhere it onto my pink cardstock, and I'll layer that background piece on a darker pink cardstock. Put some ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. All of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. Next, I'll adhere a stitch circle die cut. I use some more of the teal cardstock that has a pearlescent finish. For a sentiment, I'm using a set from Pretty Pink Posh. This is their Mouse Friends. The sentiment is just a little note. I did put a scrap piece of cardstock on the very right side of the sentiment before adhering it in place. Then I'll add another beautiful dragonfly cut apart. For a final finishing touch, I'll use some more Love from Lizzie peel-offs. This is the pink holographic color in the mini circle style, and I'll add 3 of them to the right of that dragonfly panel. So there is my finished card, and this time I made a total of 4. For card design number 4, the card sketch is from Freshly Made Sketches. This is number 535. This is a great sketch for featuring a beautiful pattern paper on the background. I selected a pattern with some larger dragonfly designs in the background. I'll round the bottom 2 corners, layer that piece on some teal cardstock, put some ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. Using that same teal cardstock, I'll cut the narrow strip. This cardstock's fun. It has a pearlescent finish on one side and a matte finish on the other. I believe the brand is Coordinations, and it's the Polar Ice color. I purchased it from my local Joann's. I'm using the same sentiment from Pretty Pink Posh, just a little note. I did cut a very slight fishtail on the left side. I didn't have a lot of room since it is a larger sentiment for this sketch, but I still really wanted to use it. Before adhering the sentiment banner, I did put a scrap piece of cardstock just on the upper area. Next, I'll add a stitch circle die cut, and I use some pre-embossed pink cardstock. I'll adhere a dragonfly cut apart, and I selected one that matches the pattern paper. For embellishments, I'm using more of Love from Lizzie's mini circle peel-offs in the pink holographic color. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For card design number 5, the card sketch is from MFT. This is number 416. I love this beautiful pattern paper with this mix of colors. For the very background of the card, I'm using some white shimmer cardstock. For that narrow panel underneath the pattern paper, I selected a pinkish purple cardstock color. I'm adding some Love from Lizzie peel-offs just for a little extra detail. This is the mauve moon dust color in the pinstripe style. I used the medium and also the narrowest width. The very right side will be covered up, so I didn't need them to be lined up perfectly. I'll layer both of those on some purple cardstock. Add that panel onto the white shimmer cardstock. Layer it on the same purple cardstock. Add my card front onto a card base. For a sentiment, I'm using one of the cut-aparts that's included, Let Your Spirit Soar. And I did fussy cut this out since I don't have an oval die that exact size. I have some foam dimension on the back side to pop it up. Then to finish off the card, I'm adding a small banner in the upper left-hand corner using that same pinkish purple cardstock. Very simple card design, but I really wanted to feature that beautiful pattern paper. So there is my finished card, and I did make 4 using this design. For 2 of the cards, I used the other cut apart sentiment, use your wings. For the rest of the cards, I'll be using the Glow paper collection. I selected this beautiful design for the background with lots of fireflies and purple hearts. I'll be adding some Love from Lizzie peel-offs along the very center. This is the gold holographic color in the pinstripe style. I'm using the widest width first, putting that in the center. Then I'll add the medium width below it and the narrowest width above. I'm using the grid marks on my craft mat to help get those nice and straight. I did cut them just a little bit wider than the paper, and I'll just wrap those ends around the back. Layer this piece on some black cardstock, then I'll layer it again on a light yellow cardstock. Put some ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base. Sometimes it's fun to use 2 different cardstock colors for those background layers. Next, I'll add a scallop oval die cut, and I did cut this out from some vellum. That background paper is fairly busy, but I don't want to cover it up completely, so using vellum is a good alternative instead of solid cardstock, since you'll still be able to see that design through the vellum. I'm adding 2 of the image cut aparts and also the sentiment, Let Your Light Shine, and I did pop up all of those using foam dimension. I'll adhere the cut aparts down first, flip over the oval and add glue just behind those cut apart images and sentiment before adhering the oval onto my card. That way you won't see any of the glue showing through the vellum. To finish off the card, I'll add some Love from Lizzie peel-offs. This is the gold holographic color in the mini star style. I'll add an assortment of stars around the images and sentiment. Then I thought it would be fun to put a little bit of sparkle on the fireflies. This is Nouveau Glitter Drops Yellow Bird color. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For card design number 7, the card sketch is from MFT. This is number 627. This is still a fairly new to me card sketch, but I already love it and I've used it several times. I selected this beautiful purple floral paper for the background. And for all those narrow strips, I decided to go with just solid cardstock. I have a dark purple, a lighter purple, and a green. I put some double-sided adhesive tape on the back of all of the strips, and I did cut them slightly wider than that background piece. Remove the release paper, and I'll start with the dark purple panel, next the light purple, and then the green, and then I'll repeat the pattern. For that very first strip, I was lining it up with my craft mat to try to get it nice and straight. If I can get the first one straight, then the others will probably be straight as well, as long as I cut them straight. Once I have all of those strips in place, I'll flip over my panel, use my scissors to cut off the extra. For a little extra detail on the very end of those narrow strips, I'm using some more Love from Lizzie peel-offs. This is the green mirror color in the pinstripe style. I'm using the narrowest width. I'll wrap those ends around the back, put some ATG tape on the back, and layer this piece on some purple cardstock. And this is the same light purple that I used for those narrow strips. Next, I'll put my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. This card will feature 2 of the cut apart images, and it is the same image, I just cut out 2 of them. I'll adhere them onto a stitch circle die cut that I cut out from some vellum. Adhere both of the cut aparts down first. Put glue on the back just behind those floral images. Then I'll adhere my circle onto the card, more on the left side. I've already stamped and cut out the sentiment Happy Birthday, and this is from the same Jaded Blossom set I used for a previous card. And I did put foam dimension on the back of the sentiment. Next, I'll add 3 purple gem stickers around the image, and this is from an older Honeybee Stamps gem set. They do have adhesive on the back side, but I'm adding just a small drop of glue since I'm finding that gem stickers do pop off of cards if you don't add just that little extra adhesive. For a final finishing touch, I'll add a small banner in the upper right hand corner. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. I love the colors on this pattern paper and those beautiful purple flowers. For card design number 8, the card sketch is from OWH. This is number 72. I'm using the purple and yellow star paper for the background, adding just a small strip of this beautiful firefly and purple flower paper on the very bottom. For a little bit of sparkle and contrast between those 2 papers, I'll add a Love from Lizzie peel off. This is the gold holographic color in the pinstripe style. I layered both of those pattern papers on some purple cardstock, put some ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. For the 2 narrow panels on the left side of the card, I selected a lilac color cardstock that's pre-embossed with little polka dots. Adhere both of those down. The sentiment is one of the cut-aparts. I hope your day glows. I'll also add one of the image cut-aparts, and I did pop it up using some foam dimension. Then to finish off the card, I'll add some more of the gold holographic peel-offs, this time in the mini star style. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. I really like how this one turned out. Those pattern papers look so pretty together. For card design number 9, the card sketch is from Sugar Pea Designs. This is Sugar Sketch number 23. I selected another beautiful firefly pattern paper for the background. This time they're smaller images. I'm adding a panel of blue cardstock that matches the wings of the fireflies. At the very bottom of the card, I'll add some Love from Lizzie peel-offs, this time the purple holographic color in the pinstripe style. Using the medium and also the narrowest width, wrap those ends around the back. I'll layer this panel on some black cardstock, put some ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. Next, I'll add a stitch circle die cut using that same lilac colored cardstock that's pre-embossed. And this card will be featuring another firefly cut apart image. It looks so content with a little smile on its face and its eyes closed. I'll glue that down to the center of the circle die cut. Add one of the sentiment cut aparts, Let Your Light Shine, and I did pop up the sentiment with some foam dimension. For the 2 small banners in the upper left hand corner, I'm using some light yellow cardstock and also some purple cardstock. Cut a fishtail on the bottom. I'll adhere the yellow banner down first, then add a small scrap piece of cardstock to the right of that yellow banner before adhering the small purple banner. And that'll help keep both of those at the same level. Just adhere it in place using some glue. To finish up the card, pulling out some more of the Love from Lizzie peel-offs. This is the gold holographic color in the mini star style. Put several of them around the firefly, 2 of them on the sentiment, and 2 in the upper left hand corner on the banners. The holographic color peel-offs are so sparkly, perfect for embellishments on your card. And my firefly also needs a little bit of sparkle, using the same Nuvo glitter drops in the yellow bird color. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. The firefly images in this collection are so cute. For card design number 10, the card sketch is from OWH. This is number 176. OWH card sketches do include measurements, but I am modifying the measurements on this sketch just slightly. For the background panel of my card, I usually feature 4 inches by 5 1/4 inch. Then I'll layer it on some cardstock, and that cardstock layer will be 1/8 of an inch larger. So 4 1/8 of an inch by 5 3/8 of an inch. Then I'll add it onto my A2 size card base. The original measurements on the card sketch are for a full A2 size panel. In order to make all of those pieces fit on a cardstock layer, I did need to modify those measurements. The colors on this card are very different from the rest of the collection. I selected 2 pattern papers. The light yellow for the very top, and the bottom has a black gray background with all the fireflies. I rounded the bottom 2 corners and layered all of those pieces on some black cardstock. I did add some Love from Lizzie peel-offs between some of those pattern paper and cardstock layers. Both of them are the pinstripe style. I use gold holographic and also the black color. I've already stamped out the sentiment Happy Birthday on some white cardstock, and this is from the same Jaded Blossom birthday set I've been using throughout the video. Layered it on some black cardstock, and I'll adhere it in the upper right hand corner. That gold holographic peel off, I really only needed about a 1-inch strip instead of putting it all the way across the card. In the lower left hand corner, the card sketch has 3 small circles. I'm using some Love from Lizzie peel-offs in the mini star style. This is the black glitter color. And for a final finishing touch, I'll add a couple of mini star peel-offs in the gold holographic color next to the Happy Birthday sentiment. Now here's another look at the 24 cards I made using Not Too Shabby Shop's February 2023 Paper Pad Club. They have a monthly subscription where you will receive 2 6x6 paper pads. This month we have Winged Beauties and also Glow, and they're beautiful collections with lots of dragonflies and fireflies. If you are interested in subscribing or purchasing the paper pads, I do have links provided in the description box below. Since this is a monthly club, quantities are limited. The only way to guarantee receiving the paper pads is to sign up and subscribe. I also have links provided for all of the other products I used in this video. I really enjoyed using both of the collections. Perfect way to brighten a gloomy winter day. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.